All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, November 13th. We got a big 11-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays, like player props, that I like within the game as well. But all of my final plays will be listed for free on the Guy Boston Sports site, so make sure to keep an eye on that. I'll direct you over there with the pinned comment. I'll put a link to it there, so make sure to go ahead and check that out for the final plays. In terms of yesterday, it looks like a 3-3 night, but we actually have a pretty good profitable night there. Now, the Pistons team total, we had a half unit on one number, a quarter unit on the other, and they looked good from the jump. So that was a tough one to take the under on. And then the Mavs money line for a quarter unit was our only other loss, but we hit our full unit play on RJ Barrett under in points. That looked like a good call, huh? Trailblazers team total over, no sweat really. They were cruising and pacing the entire game. And the Mavs plus 5.5. We took that alternate line. I'm glad we did because they didn't cover their original, 2.5. But you're giving, we buy them with 3 more points, plus 5.5, and they end up cashing. So, yeah, I shall take it there. I mean, again, the bigger the plays that we had, RJ Barrett and Trailblazers team total, those cash. So, a nice little profitable night last night. I can't complain over that. Was it a monster night? No, but it looks better than the 3 reds and 3 greens, right? It's like the greens we had were more quality. In terms of the ride of the day, I hate to do it. I hate to have to drop the womp womp here on Henry, who had been absolutely on fire for us, but his run has come to an end. Yesterday, he had Devin Booker over 36.5 points plus assists. Devin Booker, 31 points. So you're thinking, obviously, he cashes it, right? 4 assists, comes up just shy. He has 35 points plus assists. So his ride of the day streak is over, but you know what? Let's clap it up for Henry because he went on a 3-game streak. Couldn't make it to 4, but that's still damn good in my book. So, guys, if you don't know what the ride of the day is, it is simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me your favorite play of the day. I pick one person, I jump on board and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with your plays. If you lose, unfortunately, you got to face the womp womp and pick some new. But get those hashtag ride of the days in. We drop them on Twitter as well if you're looking to ride, as well on the Guy Boston Sports site with the final plays. But, all right, enough rambling from me. What do you say we jump into some more of me rambling, but this about today's games? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and rock. We're starting it off with Orlando taking on Indiana. Orlando right now getting 1.5 points at home. They're coming off of a win yesterday against Charlotte, so they are on a back-to-back. Indiana hasn't played for a couple days. They're coming off of what I would consider a pretty strong win over New York, 132 to 121. Where I'd go with this one is probably taking a peek at the Indiana side of things, solely because this Orlando team has been really, really good defensively, but they are on back-to-backs here, and I feel like if Indiana tries to up the pace and run, it might be a little bit of wear and tear there for Orlando. Is it my favorite spot? I'll tell you right now, no. So I'm being transparent. We have 11 games to jump into. This is not, I don't think, the sexiest matchup, but I do feel like if Indiana wants to up the pace, which they've been a little bit faster as of late, if they want to up the pace, that's going to work for them here when they're not on a back-to-back. They have rested legs. Orlando doesn't. From a total perspective, it's at 224 right now. That seems like such a good number to me. Like I would put this right around there. So I'm going to lean slightly towards the over because, again, my thought process with the spread, if we correlated to this, is that Indiana might run in Orlando's defense, which is very good. Obviously, a very good defense might not be as sharp on the second night of a back-to-back here. So I think that will lead to a few more points. But yeah. Overall, this isn't my favorite spot, but I really had a tough time getting to Orlando and getting to the under, so by default, I will look at Indiana as well as the over. No major player props absolutely jumping out to me in this spot. I was considering Siakam. He's been a little too inconsistent for me. I would consider Pascal Siakam or Benedict Mathurin yet again. Where Orlando is a little bit soft defensively, those guys do like to shoot from, so I'd consider that, but nothing overall that I'm like, chomping at the bit to get down. Next game up, we have Brooklyn taking on Boston. Boston loses, I want to say heartbreaking. It's not heartbreaking. They're still so good, but man, oh man, a game that they should have won yesterday. 117 to 116 in that one. Atlanta scored 60, I think it was like 66 or 65, something like that, points in the second half. So kudos to them for just absolutely, taking it home in the second half. But what a tough game. Brooklyn coming off of a win here a couple days ago against the Pelicans. I will say this is a tough spot for the Celtics. They're on a back-to-back. They ran and played a tough game against Atlanta, and now they head into Brooklyn to play the 9-2 against the spread Brooklyn team. Like, that ain't the best spot. I will say this may be coming from a little Celtics fan bias, but I think the Celtics don't take too kindly to a loss. So I like them to win the game. Obviously, only 3 losses on the year. They have not lost 2 games in a row yet. They're 6-1 on the road. I have a feeling that this is a spot in which they bounce back. I think in every loss so far this year, maybe not that the Bucks cover, but either way, I just expect them to, I was going to say, they've covered in both of their losses prior to this one in the game after, but I don't have that fact, so I don't want to say it. But I do think that they've bounced back and fire back pretty good here. So I'll take the Celtics. I'm telling you, it might be a little Celtics bias in me, but I think everybody and their grandmother's ex-boyfriend is going to be on the Nets here because it just makes too much sense. They're at home, they're playing a team with a back-to-back, and they're getting a big number. But to me, I think the Celtics team says, hey, you know what, that's some BS that we lost yesterday. Let's bounce back. Even from an injury perspective, it's like, well, Tatum's on a back-to-back. He's not listed on the injury report, which I guess is obviously a good thing here. Maybe we keep an eye on that. But overall, I think this could be a decent spot to catch a lot of people on the net side of things. My play that I might like more than anything in this game, and it kind of involves the total here, it's like a hybrid approach, is potentially taking a peek at the Celtics team total over 112.5, 113.5, or 114.5, depending on what we want to do there. So they've hit, we'll go over 114.5 because that's plus money right now. They've hit that in 8 of 12 games so far this season. On the road, they've hit it in 5 of 7. In the 2 games they haven't hit it, they had 113 in each of those. So they've been that close. Now, when it comes to playing the Nets in the last 5 meetings, they've hit it in 4 of their last 5. The only one they didn't was earlier this year. They had 108. That was in Boston. So I think that Celtics to score some points today could be pretty good. Now, this is a decent Brooklyn defensive team, but I think a lot of their numbers, and I've been saying this a lot this year about multiple teams, a lot of their numbers look even better because they play so slow. They're bouncing back and forth between the second slowest and the slowest team in terms of pace so far this season. When you look at their efficiency numbers, it's not all that tremendous, and at home this year, they have the 21st ranked defensive efficiency. So it's like, I don't think that this defense is all that special. So I think the Celtics go out there and score some points. That might be my main look there. All right, next up, we have the Knicks taking on the Bulls. Interesting one here because I do think that the Knicks are the better team, and I truly believe the Knicks are going to kind of morph and fall into being better and better. They've gotten a lot of hate this year. But 8 points, I've seen some 8.5s out there, is far too much for me to want to lay with this squad. So I'll lean towards Chicago, but I think this is more of like a player prop type spot game. We'll get to that in a second. I also don't mind an under in this spot. You have Chicago, who's the fastest paced team, the Knicks, who is a very, very slow paced team. But the way that I think the Bulls end up scoring in this one is potentially trying to get into the paint. So even if they play fast, I think they might be counting by 2. So I'll lean under. But like I said, I do believe that this is probably more of a player prop type of a game. So let's get into some player props here in this one. What a transition, Ev. Instead of getting into those player props just yet, let's pump the brakes and talk about Underdog, guys. A .5 LeBron James square right now for tonight. All he needs to do is have 1 bucket, 1 foul shot, and this square cashes. That's not all. I feel like a used car salesman, but it's true. That's not all. You're also going to get up to $1,000 in a deposit bonus when signing up for Underdog. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link will be in the pinned comment. It's also going to be in the description as well on the Guy Boston Sports site with the final plays. Go ahead and check this out. Sign up using code GuyBoston if you don't want to click the link. Get the LeBron square as well as that deposit bonus. Underdog makes games way, way more fun. It's super, super simple. Like that, you can place an entry and win up to 1,000 times your money, which is absolutely crazy. Go ahead and check it out. I've been on Underdog for a while now, and I have a lot of fun using it. The interface is easy, whether on the computer or on the phone. It's really awesome. They do a bunch of promos as well. So go check it out. Get this LeBron free square as well as up to $1,000 in a deposit bonus. Sounds pretty damn good to me. Sounds like a good deal. Go ahead and check it out. All right, first one we'll look at here, Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points. He has not hit this in 3 of his last 4 games, and I believe that might be a good time to buy low on him. This is a team in Chicago that struggles at guarding the mid-range. Mikal Bridges second in the team so far in the last 10 games, which I think they've played 10 games in the season. Yeah, it even shows it. So second in the team so far this season in terms of field goal attempts per game from mid-range. On that note, I like Jalen Brunson, who his line is definitely a little bit high here. If you wanted to pay a little bit more juice, you could look at a mine over 24.5, but I like his points today as well. Look at how he's done against Chicago in the past. 4 straight games, 31, 35, 45, and 40. He leads the team in mid-range field goal attempts per game, so I like his spot as well. And if we know anything about what's wrong with this Knicks team defensively, it's that they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't even stop a little knee scrape at the rim here. So Nikola Vucevic, I like him over 16.5 points. He's done this in 9 of his last 10 games, in 10 of 11 on the season, and he's done it in 2 straight games against the Knicks. The only one that he didn't hit it, he finished on the hook at 16. So a few player props that I'm definitely liking in today's spot here, and I probably like all 3 of those. I don't know if we'll make those all a final play, but I think I like all 3 of those more than either the side or the total. So if we roll with something in this game, most likely it's either a same game parlay involving those 3 guys, which I could see that happening, or we just pick 1 or 2 of those and roll with them. All right, OKC taking on the Pelicans. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Obviously, we know Chet Holmgren is out here, but everyone is out for the Pelicans, essentially. Like, they get Trey Murphy back, but it's really Trey Murphy and Ingram, and then it's Boston, Missy, and Robinson Earl for the other starters. Their line, like, even Jose Alvarado is now out, you know what I mean? So this has been such an injury-ridden team. I don't think that I end up getting to the window and placing this one, but there's no reason for me to consider the Pelicans. So I'll lean OKC. In terms of a total, I'd probably look at OKC's team total over, if anything. But even still, like, I don't know how fast this game is going to be paced. You do have the Pelicans, so regardless of how bad they are and blah, 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 like, they are still a very, very slow team. So I don't necessarily want to be caught up in that one thinking, okay, well, now we have, OKC, they're the way better team. They should score a lot of points. And then still the Pelicans just go out there and drag their feet type of a thing. So I will lean OKC's team total over, but it's going to be tough to fully get there. They're going to need to score like 120 against the Pelicans here to make that worth it. And I don't necessarily know if it will be. Like, even if you look at the Pelicans' recent games, let's pull them up here in terms of what they've done defensively. 107 to Brooklyn, 115 to Orlando, 131 to Cleveland, okay, 118 to Portland, okay, 126 to Atlanta, 118 to Indiana, Golden State, 104. Like, yes, OKC's a better offense than a lot of those teams, but still you can see that they're playing so slow that it's not like we're seeing 120s every single day, you know what I mean? So I probably end up sticking away from this game. And real quick, guys, as I watch that back, I can almost hear the comments of like, what are you talking about if you stick away from it? We have to address this all the time. The format of the show is we go through each and every game and we talk about it, right? And if you're like, why do you talk about it without having a big take on it and all that? It's like, well, I like talking about sports, sue me, you know what I mean? Like, I like sports. But I do want you guys to know that, like, I think that a lot of people, and the real ones, do understand that even me saying I'm not exactly sure if I like this, there's 2 things. 1, that can maybe help someone think that this isn't the most valuable game or whatnot. Or 2, maybe even we're talking about it, there's a little nugget in there that does, spark something in someone else's mind. And that is the goal of doing this. It's like, I just want to talk about what I'm thinking in case it helps someone out there or they like to hear it and kind of get their own mind jogged, right? So that's why we'll talk about games that I'm even like, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I don't like the line and all that. We'll go through it quickly, but we'll still talk about it. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm watching it back and I'm like, a couple times I already have, like we've been saying, don't know if I love this, don't know if I'm that confident in it, but like I tell you guys all the time, I'm not going to fake confidence for content, and I think that sentence says a lot, you know what I mean? Philadelphia taking on Cleveland here. Philly getting a lot of points. I've seen some 9.5s out there. That totals at 218.5. I think I like the over to begin with. This is a very good Cleveland defense. I get it, but I think that they control the pace here, especially with Philadelphia on a back-to-back. So I think it's a little bit too low. I think Cleveland kind of ups the tempo. Where I go with a number here is probably taking a peek at the Cavs now. We still have to wait and see if Joel Embiid is going to play. He said he wants to play. I don't even see him on the injury report, but I have a feeling, even after a minutes restriction last night, like, he might not play because, again, he originally said, I'm not going to play on any back-to-backs for the rest of my career, right? And then he's like, after yesterday, he's like, I want to play tomorrow. So this guy's all over the place. But from what I saw, it's like, I think we might be a little ways away from, even if he does play, him being in full force. So I think the Cavs are just that good. They're 12-0 in the season. I keep saying it, and I sound like a damn broken record. At some point, they are going to lose a game, and it's like, they should have won that. I was surprised, blah, 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 right? But I don't know if it's going to be against the Sixers, who are now 2-8, 1-4 at home, on a back-to-back. Like, that doesn't seem like it makes much sense to me. So I'll take the Cavs, maybe a Cavs first half, because I could see them kind of, coming out strong and the Sixers coming out lackadaisical. So maybe looking at it both of those ways, or like I've been talking about, we've done a lot of them so far already in this video, but you guys know I like myself some team totals, right? In the NFL in particular, because I think you isolated a lot of variables. Cavs over 113.5. I don't mind that. Over 112.5 or minus 140. I don't mind that. So yeah, maybe those are two looks that we go and say, hey, don't worry about winning. You silly goose. You don't go worrying about winning by 9.5. Just score 112, you know what I mean, or 113. So maybe that's the move. From a player prop perspective, I will say I'm liking Jarrett Allen today for plus money over 12.5 points. This is not a good Sixers team at defending points in the paint. Obviously, Jarrett Allen's going to be the guy that scores in the paint. Cleveland likes to score in the paint. I looked at Evan Mobley, but Evan Mobley has burned us a few times. So I don't mind Evan Mobley either, but his number's all the way at 17.5, and he hasn't cashed that. He didn't cash it last time we took 16.5, right? So Jarrett Allen's line's going in the opposite direction, which makes sense. His last two games, 4 points and 9 points, 6 field goal attempts and 7 field goal attempts. The thing is, Jarrett Allen is a way better shooter than what he's had in the last couple games. 17% from the field. That's crazy, right? And then 43%. Last year as a whole, he shot 63% from the field. So I think this is an amazing buy low spot for Jarrett Allen. Even if Embiid plays, sure, but I think that this is going to be a spot where Jarrett Allen is able to go out there and, even if he makes 6 buckets and gets to the foul line, that's like kind of the recipe to cash it. For plus 100 over on MGM, I think sign me up for that one. That's got a strong chance of being a final play. Guys, if you have not tried out the RotoWire Picks app, you're absolutely missing out on what I would consider one of the best and easiest tools to find winning plays out there. Let's go ahead and jump into the app right now. I can show you on my computer. They also have it for the desktop. You can see download on the App Store or Google Play. I'll have a link in the pinned comment as well as the Guy Boston Sports site there. But what's really, really cool about this one is, like I said, you come in here and they're going to give you based on multiple factors. Odds on pick'em sites, odds on sports books, RotoWire's projections, and then their hit rate. That's a weighted hit rate based on how the recency bias, how they've been doing lately, which is really, really cool. But you can come in here and say, okay, we talked about Underdog already in this video, right? Let's go ahead and filter to just Underdog. Get rid of all these other ones, but you can see they have all of these sites, right? You head over on NBA. We can even look at what stats we like, and here you'll see which plays are more likely to hit more and which plays are more likely to hit less based on RotoWire's leans. Really, really cool. We love to see that big Vooch leaning towards his over in points plus rebounds. We like his points plus rebounds and assists. We like his points, so I love to see that aligns. But guys, super, super simple. We can even look at a full breakdown, right? Like I said, pick'em sites, sports books, RotoWire projections, and hit rates. You look at the full breakdown, and you can see here why they're valuing that. You can even look at his hit rate, but what I love about the hit rate is it's a weighted hit rate. The hit rate over the last 20 games with recent games given more importance. That is super, super cool. So this is a very, very simple way to head in here and find some likely to cash plays. Are they going to be 100%? No, but we know what industry we're in, right? So go check that out. RotoWire Picks, guys. It's not just for the NBA. Say we wanted to look at the Thursday night football game tomorrow, right? You can head in here and you could say, okay, say we want to look at, FD or DK, and you can see all the valuable plays over on there for Thursday night football or just NFL in general. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, that link will be down below. Make sure to go pick it up. If you have not yet, I feel like you're missing out because this is one of the most simple ways to get some plays that are more likely to hit than just going in there like a lot of us do and browsing and picking your favorite players type of things blindly. So go check out the RotoWire Picks app, guys. Again, link down below. It'll also be posted on the Guy Boston Sports site. I will admit it, this Detroit team has impressed me, and obviously this Milwaukee team has not been all that impressive. You got Milwaukee here at home taking on Detroit. Milwaukee 5.5 point faves. Totals at 216 right now. Milwaukee coming off of a win against Toronto in what was such a sloppy game. Like, I don't even know if we can say that either one of those, like did Milwaukee play good defense, or did Toronto just tell everyone in the locker room to start shooting with the opposite hand? And if you don't want to do that, try and kick the ball in. You know what I mean? They shot like 3% from the field, something crazy like that. So I don't even know if I give that to the Milwaukee side in terms of, they look good defensively. I think that Toronto team is just not looking good, obviously. Detroit coming off of a win against Miami, and you look at the final score, 123-121, it's like, oh, wow, they pulled that one out barely. No, like this team, they controlled that game. They've now won 3 of their last 5 games. They don't have the biggest of quality wins. Like when they play good teams, I do believe that they lose, but where do we peg Milwaukee, right? 3-8 so far on the year, 4-7 ATS at home, 2-3. Like I don't think that we peg Milwaukee as this great team. So this is definitely a tough one. Where I would go in this one is the Bucks. Now, if they're a little bit healthier now, I don't believe we'll have Damian Lillard. I think he's still ruled out. But if Giannis is good to go, I really don't see much of a reason to step away from the Bucks here. 5.5 points. At some point, they're going to play a team that, like, I think that this is the type of game where things could return to norm a little bit, right? The Bucks play better than they have been playing, and Detroit doesn't win 2 in a row, and they lack a little bit. Even when I said 3 of their last 5, they've gone win, loss, win, loss, win. So they are due, I guess, for a loss if you follow that trend. But I can see why someone's on Detroit here. I surely can. I just don't have the confidence in it. And Giannis is in this game. If he gets in there and gets Detroit's players and their bigs in foul trouble, I think that we could see the Bucks pull away, and they don't even need to pull away that much. 5.5 points, like not all that crazy, right? From a total perspective, you guessed it, I'm a broken record. I don't love the idea of the Pistons sticking around in this one all that much. So where am I gonna go? We must have like a little fixation on this today because I like Milwaukee's team total over. Right now, if you look at them, over 109.5 is probably where I'd go. It is a little bit too high. Like I saw this earlier at 107.5, and I liked it. So 109.5 is obviously now you need an extra 3-point or 2-point buckets to cash that one. It's a little bit different. I hate seeing a line and then we lose the value and then still wanting to roll with it. But overall, it is still where my head is at. So I'll lean towards Milwaukee team total over. I don't mind the full game over. We saw Detroit play fast yesterday, but it would be just my luck to look at Detroit yesterday on the under, right? And then like them on the over today, and then they play under basketball. So I think I just isolated 2 Milwaukee in this spot. And then, like I mentioned, maybe some Giannis props, but on a back-to-back, I don't know if I'm totally like sold there. I think it would probably just be Bucks minus the points or Bucks team total or pass in this spot. San Antonio taking on Washington. San Antonio laying a big number here. I think we can admit that, right? Now, Washington stinks, and this number's getting bigger and bigger. I've seen 9.5s. I think I saw 10, went right back to 9.5. So this thing is moving around. Washington stinks. We obviously know that they've lost 5 or 6 straight games against a plethora of different types of competition. It's not like they're just losing to good teams, right? San Antonio, on the other side, has kind of been up and down. They got a pretty impressive win against Sacramento a couple days ago. We were on the Sacramento side of things, like an idiot. In this spot, it's probably San Antonio or pass for me. I don't know if I totally love the idea of a lot of points being scored in this game, but the line's kind of moving in a direction that's making me think, like, what's going on here? Because 224.5, 224 is what we saw then, 224.5. I've seen some 225s out there, and I like the under. So why are they bumping that up if that's the case? Kind of reverse line movement in what I would expect. So I will lean under in this one as well as San Antonio. From a player prop perspective, I think Wembanyama should have a decent game here. This is a Washington team that is not all that great at stopping points in the paint. The problem is San Antonio doesn't exactly try to get to the rim as much as they did a while back. So Wembanyama is probably going to rely on the jump shot and whatnot, which is fine. Washington's a little bit better against that. I still don't think that it's a terrible spot to look at his points. But overall, I wish that he was like, or they and him were getting to the hoop more, because I think that's how you get to this Spurs team. But you're getting a plus number here, plus 100 for over 24.5. I don't mind that spot. He's been hovering around that line in plenty of games, and Washington allowing the 3rd most points to opposing centers, so not exactly the worst spot in my brain. All right, Houston taking on the Clippers. I feel like maybe I'm not, but I feel like I'm missing something here. Clippers getting 5 points on the road in Houston. Now, Houston has been looking good. I give them credit for that, right? I don't really want to take that away. They've won 7 of their last 10 games and 7 of their last 11 because they've played 11. But their last 5 games they've won 4 of. New York, okay, we're still, jury's kind of out on if we give them that much credit, right? They beat San Antonio. I would say jury's still kind of out there. They get demolished by the Thunder. Okay, that makes sense. They beat Detroit by 2. They beat Washington. Like, where is this Houston hype coming from? But like I said, am I missing something? Is there a major injury? Like, is James Harden out? Like, I don't know exactly why the Clippers are getting so many points. In fact, I would assume this is more of a pick'em type of a game. So I like the Clippers in this spot, but it just smells and feels a little bit like a trap. Like, that seems a little too obvious to me. But let me know in the comments, guys. I guess we might as well do the comment right now, right? Go ahead and comment 24 if you made it this far into the video, and let me know if I'm missing something here. Like, help me out, because I feel like this should be way closer of a line, yet we're sitting at 5. You know what I mean? Like, the Clippers just played the Thunder tough, and they had won 4 straight games prior to that. Now, they didn't play the biggest and best of competition, but still, I'm missing something here clearly, or it's got to be, or it's just the most obvious Clippers spot of all time. But who knows, right? In terms of where I'd go with a total, I don't think it's going to be the highest of scoring games. That is a very, very low line, though, so I will lean towards the over. You have the Clippers who play slow, Houston who play slow, but both of these teams are fairly efficient. They are good, efficient on the defensive end as well, so I can see someone liking an under here. But again, if this was like 218.5, I don't know if I'd be as oh, let's go over. It's 213.5. Super slow, low line. Lakers taking on Memphis. This Memphis team is absolutely riddled with injuries. Marcus Smart may be coming back. Clark is a game time decision as well. But overall, I do think this is probably actually a Lakers spot, but I don't know about the full game. I probably would look at Lakers first half. This is a Memphis team that has struggled. So in terms of their defense and whatnot, or excuse me, their offense to start games, it hasn't been all that great. Now, you could probably go Lakers full game as well. I'm just kind of nitpicking here. But overall, I do think that this Lakers team in the first couple quarters has been pretty damn good. In terms of first quarter defense, they've looked good. Second quarter defense, they've only allowed 26 points per game, so that's great. But again, there's so many injuries. I feel like there's a wrench thrown into this one. It's a big number. That's why I kind of pivoted and tilted towards first half just to get something better. But I don't really think Memphis keeps this game all that close. We did see them play, was it 7 or 8 days ago, and there's plenty of injuries on the Memphis side of things, but they had Ja Morant at that point, and they won the game. They don't have Ja Morant now. That's obviously huge. The Lakers struggle, and we were on Memphis in that spot, right? The Lakers struggle at preventing points in the paint. Ja Morant specializes at getting buckets in the paint. Without him there, this flips right to the LA side of things for me. So I'll lean in that direction. When it comes to a total, I guess I would lean towards the under, just because, like, where exactly are Memphis's points going to come from, right? Scottie Pippen Jr., Marcus Smart, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay, I talked about points in the paint. Jaren Jackson is probably going to be the guy that has to go out there and score a bunch, right? But he's not. He doesn't have the best track record either this season or against the Lakers. He's just averaging 21 points per game. That's not going to be enough to just totally get them going. So under 230 in this spot for me. I will mention Anthony Davis is on the injury report as probable. I do expect him to play, though. All right, Portland taking on Minnesota. I'm smirking at this one because one of our favorite plays yesterday, I didn't know if I was crazy. I liked Portland's team total over 102.5. They ended up scoring, what was it, 120, right? So I like that spot. Now, we did take an alternate line, played a ton. 122? Yeah, 122. So, yeah, it's not like we made bank on it, but still, I liked that spot. And I almost took more points for some better money, but I was like, you know what, let's just put the unit on the juiced one because I felt like we were getting some serious value. It was like minus 150 on FanDuel at the time, and then minus 170 elsewhere. I was like, let's just take it, and then, you know, let's not regret it type of thing by missing it. Anyways, same matchup today, Portland taking on Minnesota, right? This is interesting because I do think Minnesota's got a little bit of bounce back in them, or they at least should, and now that spread is very similar to where it was yesterday. A lot of people were on Minnesota yesterday. I even liked Minnesota, right? But what I had said is it's a weird spot, and today's a weird spot as well, but Portland is going to be banged up. Anthony Simons, I believe, left last game, didn't come back, right? DeAndre Ayton is ruled out. Thibault's already been ruled out. So this is probably a spot to say, hey, well, the novice person would look at what happened yesterday and say, this Portland team can keep it close. Someone that's been around doing this for a long time, you know that's not nearly how it works, right? Like, a lot of times when the underdog wins this game, you come back and play the next one, that better team, the team that's definitely head and shoulders better, says, not twice in a row. So give me Minnesota in this spot minus the points. I wouldn't mind them. I feel like we're getting so nitpicky in today's video, but if you guys made it this far in the video, comment nitpick. I don't even know how to spell that. Is that a K-N-I-T or N-I-T? I have no idea how to spell nitpick, but you guys can figure that one out. Do your best in the comments. Whenever I ask people to do it without looking it up, we get some wild spellings. But I am being nitpicky here, but I like the first quarter and the first half for Minnesota. They just got punked by this team. Now this team's going to be without Ayton. Was without him yesterday, right? But now potentially no Simons either. He's listed as questionable, so he might come in. I think he left with like he was like out of breath or something. It's kind of scary, but that can also be nothing, I guess, at the same time, right? So who knows? But I think that this Minnesota team comes in hot in the first quarter and says, "You guys punked us yesterday. F you," and then goes in and puts some buckets on him. So I like Minnesota first quarter here as well as first half. In terms of the total, Portland team, I don't think I do that again 2 days in a row. I'd probably end up still leaning towards the over in this one, but I think Portland's going to carry the weight here today. And I don't know if Minnesota gets it going in the first quarter without Anthony Edwards, so maybe his first quarter points as well. I think Minnesota looks good all game long. I do. But I just feel like they should have that fire and that attitude after what happened yesterday, right? Sacramento taking on Phoenix. Now, I can probably say right off the jump that this is also a weird line, like Sacramento being that big of favorites. Much like the Clippers one, I don't necessarily get now. I guess I get why it is the case, right? Phoenix on a back-to-back here. They beat Utah yesterday. Their injury report is riddled with stars, or at least starters. Nurkic out, Durant out, Bradley Beal game time decision now, so I totally get it. On the other side of things, Malik Monk, probably the biggest injury for Sacramento. He's out. I don't see why Sacramento's that big of favorites. I will trust it, though. They're at home coming off a loss. They don't have the back-to-back situation. I like Sacramento, but it's a weird spot. I don't think I get there. That total's at 226. I don't mind an over. I think that, both these teams can play some good defense, but when it really comes down to it, I think they'll rely on their scores and their offense. So I like the over. And then player prop, I have two that I like. Domantas Sabonis over 19.5 points. You can also get him over 17.5 right now, paying a little bit more juice. And then Devin Booker over 2.5 3-pointers made. This has been a Kings team that's very much struggled against the above the break three so far this year, and Devin Booker shoots about 7 of those per game. So for him to go out there and hit 3, I wouldn't necessarily mind it, right? I think he only has to shoot like 35-ish%, which is about his number there. So yeah, I like I think it's actually more, right? So what's 3 of 7 is let's see if we can do that really quick. I'm like dum. It's like 40, yeah, 42%. Whoa. I was going to say that, man. I just didn't trust my math instincts, which is fair a lot of the times. So give me Devin Booker over 2.5 threes as well as Sabonis in points. Maybe some sort of same game parlay there. Knock Sabonis down to 15 plus points, Booker 2 plus threes, and then we see what we're cooking with, right? I think that could be a move when we like 2-player props like this. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I truly, and I mean like truly, and I hope people are sticking around watching this. You can let me know in the comments if you are, because sometimes I get sappy, ranty at the end of the video, but I cannot believe where we are as a channel, as a new channel here after just a week long. Absolutely crazy to me. Right now, we're at exactly 10,000 subscribers during recording this. 10,000 subscribers in a week is just absurd to me. So I cannot thank you guys so much, or enough for supporting us when the main channel is going through its issues and whatnot. So yeah, I leave these types of rants till the end because I want the real ones to hear it. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys. Like, I thought my world was crumbling for a second. I went full time doing content in March, and then the 100,000 subscribed to channel get some issues. I talk more about it on the website, not here though. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And this channel has just picked me up when we were down. So appreciate the hell out of you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.